You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. LSU had practice today, Thursday. They practiced Friday as well, but no media availability Thursday or Friday. The next media availability will be Saturday. LSU will wrap up fall camp with a scrimmage in Tiger Stadium, and the media is allowed access to that scrimmage. So we'll have plenty to say after the scrimmage. I plan on taking copious notes and charting it as I would any other game, and I'll give you stats and all that good stuff. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk a little bit about, up until this point in camp, a couple of things that I think are pleasant surprises, things that are really good we've seen, and maybe some things that might be a lingering concern and what to watch moving forward. And of course, Brian Kelly has been very candid with how everything's gone and has continued to go. And when he met with reporters on Wednesday, can we start with number 10, please? He did talk about what he's hoping to get out of the scrimmage on Saturday.
We'll try to get in, somewhere around 60 to 70 plays. It's generally the biggest scrimmage in terms of live work that we'll get. We did some situational, as you saw, goal line work today. So it will be the time where we get a lot of the starters in there, get as much work as possible. And then certainly the younger guys will get the rest of the work.
As camp was starting, and as I try to evaluate where they are right now, I go back to the beginning of camp and look at my notes and say, okay, well, what were the things that we wanted to see? What maybe were the question marks? And offensively, there were few, if any, questions. You've got a fifth-year starter at quarterback. 6 of your top 7 offensive linemen are back. Your starting tight end is back. You've got your unquestioned top 3 receivers, and you've developed really good talent behind them with Aaron Anderson. Chris Hilton looks great. Shelton Sampson, that's your next 3, undeniably. Everything on the offense looks good. Running back, how the running back room shakes out was a question. But really, the questions were defensively, because LSU lost so much of its production defensively. You lost Micah Baskerville. You lost Joe Fouché. You lost both of your starting cornerbacks. You lost Jaquelin Roy in the middle. You lost B.J. Ojulari. You lost Ali Gay. You lost a ton of defensive production. Now, you got talent there, but how is it going to sort itself out? Coming in, we knew, look, in the interior defensive line, you got Mason Smith. You got Jacoby and Guillory. You got Mekhi Wingo, who's a returning All-American. You added 3 interior down linemen. Jordan Jefferson among them seems to be the guy that's really risen to the forefront among the transfers to be the next guy rotating in. You got Savion Jones replacing Ali Gay on one side. At linebacker, you're moving Harold Perkins inside. You brought in Omar Spates. You got your 2 starters there. The real questions were, who's going to play that jack spot? And what does your secondary look like? Those are the big questions. And I'll tell you, the one really pleasant surprise, actually the 2 that I wrote down, was one at corner and one at safety. Ashton Stamps at corner is a really pleasant surprise. Do you realize, if you go look at the 247 composite, how they rate they rank all the players, of course, by position, by state, all that sort of stuff. But if you go look at the national ranking for Ashton Stamps last year when he signed with LSU, Ashton Stamps in the composite did not have a ranking. He was a 3-star who was not ranked among the national prospects. He was the 44. No, forgive me. Actually, they did update this. I must have been looking at a one. He was the number 627 player nationally in the composite. 247 did not rank him. In the composite, he was ranked. In 247's rating, he was not. So the fact that guy who signed at 6'170" comes in, has put on good weight, and is right now running as your 3rd cornerback is a really pleasant surprise. And he doesn't look lost. It's not like he's running 3rd because, somebody's got to run 3rd. He started from the bottom, now I'm here. he started at the bottom and has worked his way up with a lot of guys who had struggles throughout this camp in that secondary. The other is Andre Sam. And if we go back to the very first day when they were starting fall camp, that was a guy I circled and said, Andre Sam has got to play a key role on this team because LSU, unfortunately, does not have great numbers or experience or depth at safety. Major Burns is back, but he has been injury-prone throughout his career. Greg Brooks is best in the nickel, but if Andre Sam can't play safety and Greg Brooks has to go play safety, then Sage Ryan has to go play nickel. And if we're just being candid, when Sage Ryan has gone in place of Greg Brooks, or did last year, there was a notable drop-off. So to have everybody in their best spot, you needed Andre Sam to be a good option at safety. And so far, he has been. He has been running with the ones opposite Major Burns at safety, and that has been key for this defense. So those are the two pleasant surprises. Just because I'm lacking a better word to use, if things that to this point have been disappointing or maybe a concern, I think as we were looking at the defensive end of the jack spot, Savion Jones has been really good. I don't worry about that. He has been one of the guys, and maybe I should have circled him, highlighted him as one of the pleasant surprises, but he played well last year behind Ali Gay. Savion Jones physically has got himself in amazing shape, and he is built for that position, that big defensive end to take on double teams, to make plays at the line of scrimmage, to get off blocks and get TFLs. He is made for it. So I think Savion Jones is going to have a great year, y'all. Opposite him, I think we looked at, okay, we think Ovie Ogofu is going to be the jack, the starter, but how's he going to look? And Ovie Ogofu has looked very good to this point. Sixth-year player, of course, was with BK at Notre Dame, transferred to Texas now in his sixth year. He's playing at LSU. And he switched to jersey number 2, and he looks great at the jack spot. The real question has been backing up those two guys. The two guys who are running at the defensive end spot behind Savion Jones are Quincy Wiggins and Deshaun Womack. Both were massive recruits. And both to this point have been a bit overwhelmed. When we get to watch them do blocking drills against the one-on-ones, pass rush drills, combo blocks, whatever, keep in mind that's the right side of the line. So you're looking at Miles Frazier, Emory Jones going against those guys when they rotate through. And when it's backups, you're looking at the right side of the line with Mason Lunsford and Zalance Hurd, who's a 5-star and he's a mountain of a human. And I'm here to tell you, man, it's been tough sledding for those two guys to this point. Savion Jones looks great. Where is your depth at that left end spot is a real question. Ovie Ogofu looks perfectly capable at the jack spot. He's not Harold Perkins. He's not B.J. Ojolari. But he's going to be a really good player there for you. Braden Swinson, I think this week, had a much better week than he did the first week and a half that we saw. The Oregon transfer. And he's backing up Ovie Ogofu at that jack spot. So that's another one that I would tell you as well, that you'd like to keep continuing to see Braden Swinson trending up. And Swinson's a guy who came in with, look, we know he comes in from Oregon, and we know he's got this physical ability, right? The way he's put together, he looks the part. He's 6'4", 240. But when you look at his 2 seasons in Eugene, the production wasn't necessarily there. It was actually 3 seasons because of the COVID year in 2020, which didn't count. But 3 seasons in Eugene, 35 total tackles. In 3 seasons, he has a total of 5.5 tackles for loss and 3 sacks. He did not record a sack last year. In 2022 at Oregon, he had no sacks and 1.5 TFLs. Like, the production hadn't been there. So can he figure it out and come on, I think is a big one. And the other one I'll tell you is I was hoping to see at this point some separation at running back. Somebody or some bodies establish himself or themselves as 1, 2, 3, whatever way it might go. And that really hasn't happened. In part because Josh Williams has been slowed with injury. Armani Goodwin, Logan Diggs missed time this week. So I think when we get to watch the scrimmage on Saturday, we'll probably get a better sense of how those guys look when they're running against a live defense and they're actually tackling. So those are the things that I'd say I'm most looking forward to on Saturday. I want to see how your backups at end and Jack look, and is there any separation there at running back? And one other thing I'll tell you to file away. I know this was an under-the-radar thing, but I want you to file it away. LSU added Aiden Corbello this week. Aiden Corbello is John Corbello's son. I think we've talked about him when he committed, as a walk-on. And to this point, hadn't been with LSU. And my understanding is they called him last week on Thursday and were like, get here, we need you at practice on Friday. It was a very sudden, abrupt thing instead of having him come at the start of school when the rest of the walk-ons would come. I'm not trying to read too much into that, but remember last year, LSU had Damian Ramos. They had Nathan Dybert, who handled kickoffs. They also had Zeke Mata. Well, Zeke Mata's not with him anymore. So you only got two place kickers. They added Aiden Corbello. And we saw Aiden Corbello when they were doing special teams drills, doing onside kicks and handling the kickoffs on the kickoff team. This guy has made more field goals than any in the history of Jesuit football in New Orleans. He was the best kicker in the state a year ago. But he only ever wanted to play at LSU, so if that opportunity was going to be there, wasn't going to keep kicking. Just keep an eye on that. I can't tell you I know. We don't get to see a ton of like live field goal or those types of special teams. Mostly what we're watching are the kickoff and kick coverage units. But just keep an eye on that to see if there isn't maybe some competition there for Damian Ramos with them bringing in Aiden Corbello. Just file that one away and keep an eye on it. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.